Hi guys, ya sabes que Carlos irte to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're making another delicious holiday dinner idea for a smaller gathering. If you're hosting Thanksgiving for 2 or 3 and you don't feel like making a giant turkey, well, this is the recipe for you. We're making Thanksgiving for 2 on a sheet pan. Today I'm using a split turkey breast, which is just one side of the turkey breast, and it's sold at your supermarket. Just ask your butcher for it and they will show you where it is. Otherwise, maybe they can prepare one for you so you don't have to have the whole big breast. And we're gonna cook it with some veggies. We're gonna cook it on the same pan with our veggies. It's gonna have plenty of flavor and it's gonna be perfect. There are gonna be some leftovers because I always make a little bit more. Let's get started with making the marinade. So we're starting with a teaspoon of grated garlic. I like to grate mine ahead of time and keep it frozen so it makes things so much easier. Then a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. It's gonna add lots of flavor. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I always put a little more. This is a tablespoon of grape molasses. If you have petit mezzi from Greece, which is really good quality grape molasses, use that instead. We need the juice of half a lemon or 2 tablespoons, some salt, a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes for heat. If you don't want the heat, just leave them out. Some cracked black pepper, a heaping teaspoon of dried oregano, half a teaspoon of ground cumin. And now I have the herbs. I have a sprig of rosemary that I'm just gonna remove the leaves and finally chop them with some thyme. Now, if you have sage leaves, you could do 2 sprigs of sage leaves too. I'm just completely out. Been cooking Thanksgiving meals for the past week, so I need to restock my pantry. Mix the marinade together so everything is combined. So now before we start, I'm just gonna flip the turkey over and I'm just gonna put some salt on the back side for good measure. And then I'm gonna take some of this marinade and I'm gonna put it underneath the skin. I just use the back of the spoon to just open up the pocket a little more. Take care and try not to, tear it too much so that way it stays inside. It gets lots and lots of flavor. And we're gonna put the rest of this on here. Okay, so the turkey is marinated. I have the carrots over here. I just have about 5 carrots. You can put as many as you want in there. I am going to, marinate them or season them in just a little bit. But before we do that, I'm gonna get the potatoes ready. The potatoes and the onion. So you can use sweet potato if you want. You can use acorn squash. I'm not even gonna peel the potatoes because these are yellow potatoes and the peel is really fine. I'm just gonna cut them into wedges. They've already been washed and scrubbed, so they're clean. Oh my God. So we're just gonna arrange everything properly on the cutting, not in the cutting board, in the pan. So I'll put the potatoes on one side, just like that, and we're gonna season them now. Now you can put the potatoes in a big bowl and season them, but why dirty one more thing? We're gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, and we're gonna add the juice of half a lemon. Make really delicious Greek lemony potatoes. Then potatoes need lots of salt, so we're gonna season with salt, some black pepper, and some dried oregano. Toss them. And I did wash my hands, so I'm gonna touch the salt again, season with a little more salt. And I love oregano. I'm just gonna put a little more oregano on top since we flipped them over. And now I just have this onion. I'm just gonna peel the onion. And I'm just gonna cut the onion into some wedges as well. And I'm just gonna put that just on one side because we need to make room for the Brussels sprouts. We're gonna put those in a little bit later. Let me also drizzle just a little bit of olive oil over the carrots. And I'm gonna sprinkle them with some salt and just toss them around a little bit in here. So the oven is preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. The tray is gonna go in and bake at the center rack for 45 minutes. Once it comes out, we're gonna add the Brussels sprouts in there, and then we're gonna cook the turkey for another about 30 minutes or until it reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the temperature because if the internal temperature is lower than 165, then it's not fully cooked. And if it's higher than 165, turkey breast does tend to dry out. So get a oven-safe thermometer and use that so that way you get the right temperature and you're able to see it. I'm gonna put the pan in the oven, then we're gonna prepare the Brussels sprouts. So for the Brussels sprouts, we're just gonna dress them really simply with a little bit of olive oil, a tablespoon of the grape syrup, some salt, and some black pepper. That is it. Just give everything a nice mix, toss it in there so it's nice and coated. And this is gonna sit aside until the 45 minutes are up, and then we're gonna put them in the roasting pan. So the turkey is ready. Once it reaches 165 degrees, take it out, tent it with some foil, and let it rest so that with the juices, it can stay nice and juicy. Let it rest for about 15 minutes or so, and then you can carve it right on the bone. Now, if you're thinking that this recipe for the marinade and the seasonings look familiar, that's because it is. This is the same marinade that I put on the roasted turkey breast that I did the other day with the gravy, because it is so delicious. It needs nothing else, and it's the best marinade that I've used so far on turkey breast. Keeps it nice and juicy and loaded with flavor. Once it comes out, again, like let it rest a little bit. You never want to cut into meat that's just come out of the oven. Otherwise, all the juices will run out and it'll be totally dry. Now, you can cut it like I did, slice it right on the bone very carefully. It's still going to be nice and hot. Make some gravy if you want. If you want to learn how to make gravy, go on to that video and I'll put it up in the card section so you can watch it and make the most delicious gravy. If you see, the vegetables are perfectly cooked, the potatoes are nice and tender, and the turkey is still super juicy, and there are some juices and spices on the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to cut into a potato and take this little piece of turkey and give it a taste. Perfection. So much flavor. This feeds 2 to 3 people, and then you'll also have leftovers for the week so you can snack on them and bring them to work. If you're wondering what you should do with the bone that's left over, you can make stock out of it. That would be a really good idea so you don't let anything go to waste. Make some chicken and turkey stock and use it and make some nice avgolemono soup. This whole thing is delicious and super simple to make. All you need is a little bit of gravy, maybe some cranberry sauce, and Thanksgiving is ready in under 2 hours. If you want to learn how to make this, the recipe is underneath the description box, as well as a printable version on dimitrasdishes.com. If you want to learn how to make more delicious Thanksgiving recipes, click on this playlist over here, and I'll see you right over there. Yes, sis.